Hey, how are you today? So, I have been asked to talk about how to get to orange status. And as many of you know, orange status is a very hard status to obtain. Getting to green status is hard enough, but then working your way towards orange status, it just seems like a whole new ball game. One of the reasons that orange status is so hard is because if you're I'm a very driven person and I know what I'm capable of, but when you work for orange status, you're reliant upon having a green status presenter under you, and then some of that control leaves you and is transferred to somebody else, which can be very frustrating, especially for someone like myself who is very driven and a little bit of a control freak. So working towards orange status can really be mind-boggling, and it's really hard to find that one person sometimes who you can drive to that green status. So I'm here to give you some tips, a lot of these tips on how to get to orange status. A lot of these tips may be things you already know. I may come up with a few things that you don't know, but I'm here just to encourage you and let you know that it definitely is a numbers game. And if you're not sponsoring, that is one of the keys to getting you to orange status, because it really boils down to sales and the number of people on your team and what they're selling. So with that being said, we'll start out. The one thing that you need to do to get orange status is you've got to sponsor people. You should never stop working your business yourself as you add new people to your team. Of course, yes, you need to train people on your team, and training them well is important. If you have a downline and there's somebody in between you and that downline person and they're not getting trained, it is your job as a leader to reach down that downline and make sure that that leg is working. There's lots of ways you can do that. You can help run online parties for that whole leg. You can reach out to that particular sponsor that may have kind of fallen off. If they're really not interested in selling or aren't up to par, bypass that person and reach down. Again, working your business yourself is key. I know the month that I went green, I sold $6,000 in product myself. So basically, you have to be prepared to come up with some big sales yourself, but you also need to rely on the power of duplication. And if you're not training your people, you're not duplicating what you do and training the people, the presenters that are under you, to do what you do, then you're never going to get over that hump. So the power of duplication is key in getting to orange status. Well, how do you do that? There's a couple of different ways, and one of the ways that I found more recently is helping downlines run online parties, to make sure that everybody's working, to make sure they're trained right. Another way is, I think this is key, if you haven't set up your own new presenter training, you should. I have done that, and it's been a really big thing for my team. It's cut back on the number of questions, and really it's just kind of helped everybody get on the same page for what our team goals are and how I run my team. So if you haven't set up a new presenters training, that may help, because then you know everybody's getting the same type of training. Another thing that you can do is set up sponsoring events, online sponsoring events where you actually invite people into an event or a group to talk about what Younique is all about and how, basically, what we do, how we do it, and to see if you can help other team members sponsor. So really there's a lot of micromanaging that goes along with trying to hit orange status, and it trickles on up as you reach for purple and black as well, I'm sure, but it's a lot of work. So sponsoring is key and training is key. So another way that I have increased my PRS personally is through makeup playdates. That is how I get most of my sales, is one-on-ones. And those customers, once I create that relationship with them, I usually spend about an hour with my makeup playdates. And once I have obtained that relationship, those are lifelong customers. Those people keep coming back to me. So those are refills on shine cloths and foundation and concealer and primer that you can make sure that are going to come back to you and not trickle down elsewhere. You've got to run online parties. If you're not running online parties, you're not meeting new people. If you're not meeting new people outside of your warm market, then your business is going to die. So you have got to run online parties. It doesn't matter if the party's a dud. If you've listened to Cara Lewis Newton, she'll tell you that there's a lot of her parties that don't even qualify, but the lady sells over $10,000 in makeup herself a month. So if you're not running online parties every single week, then you're totally missing the boat. If you're trying to just sell to the people that you know or to work your downline, then you're going about it the wrong way. You've got to do online parties. I think working your past customers is key. You can work your past customers to try to increase your sales and teach your downline to do the same. Once again, it's the power of duplication. I think working your business daily and being consistent, posting in your VIP group, posting on your Facebook wall. You've got to do that as a leader in order for your team to see you doing that and want to duplicate that. So again, duplication keeps coming up. You have got to do what you say and say what you mean. So pretty much you have to be consistent in this business. You should definitely, if you're not throwing out incentives to your team every month to get them to work, you need to. I think the rule of thumb that I've heard, and this is the rule of thumb that I use, is I typically will spend about 10% of my monthly income with younique back into the team, putting out incentives. And I never give away something that I wouldn't personally want. So if you're putting 10% in and you pick out something that you think you would love, your team is probably going to love it as well. So give incentives. One of the things I'm doing this particular month is that I'm giving a light. It's like a photography light. They have them on Amazon, and if they qualify their business by the 5th of the month, they get thrown in the drawing for the light. So right off the bat, I've got people qualifying their business. Our goal this month in particular is to make sure that everyone on our team qualifies their business. That's another thing. Reach down to those downlines. Make sure everybody gets qualified. $125 in sales is only 5 mascaras, which to us doesn't sound like a lot, but sometimes just getting people to work their business by qualifying their business with just the bare basics will help them recharge and get started again. So you've got to look down your back office and see where all those zeros are. And this month we are basically saying say no to 0. So work those people that are at 0 and try to re-engage them. That is also another way that you can increase your PRS and your team sales. Okay, lead by example, sell, 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 sponsor, sponsor, sponsor. Once again, what I said, do what you say and mean what you say, and you know what I mean. Say what you mean and mean what you do. You've got to do it in order for them to be able to duplicate that. They've got to see you working. If they don't see you working your business, more than likely they're not going to work theirs. Have integrity and follow through. I think a lot of times girls get discouraged, and when you do reach downline, you know, it can be complicated. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. There's mismatching of customers start to overlap, and so when you get to that orange status, it can be very, very difficult. So try to always do the right thing when it comes to your team as well as your customers. If you messed up on an order, you need to make sure that you make it right with your customer, because your integrity is everything in this business. And again, I think the big thing is that it's not all about you. If you can take the focus off yourself and you can push and make other people understand, help them reach their goals, your goals will come. But it's really hard for us. We're all a little bit self-centered, I believe, and we all want certain things in this business, but I think it's very difficult to take the focus off ourselves and put it on our downline. But if you teach those girls to reach their goals, you will reach yours. And I think also focusing on getting girls to pink is huge, because at that point in time, they start getting a commission check. And that commission check can be huge for those people. And when they start seeing that, usually that's about the point that things start to click. So I think working on getting girls to pink is also a big key. So those are the big things that I can come up with that may help you get to orange status. I think the big takeaways are that sometimes you have to work down deep into your business to try to pull people back up, and it never stops. You are almost constantly having to micromanage your team, and that can be exhausting at times, and I understand that, but it does eventually pay off. So never quit working your own business, never quit sponsoring yourself. Try not to wear yourself out. However, if you have girls that aren't working, then find girls that will. And you've got to try to hone in on those people and figure out who it is exactly that wants to work. So that's it. That's my tips for getting to orange status. I hope you found this helpful. And if you have a question, feel free to message me, Leslie Powell, on Facebook. Thanks.